Good afternoon. This is Jeff Usher, Senior Program Officer at the Kansas Health Foundation, and I'm here for the webinar to describe the Worksite Wellness RFP. We'll be recording this session, and all the questions and answers will be posted on our website right here, and it's also the same website that came out on the announcement of the RFP. The purpose basically is to go over some of the technical aspects of the RFP, Worksite Wellness Initiative overall, and to answer questions. Our Worksite Wellness purpose is to identify an organization through a competitive request for proposals process to work with Kansas employers to develop, strengthen, and implement Worksite Wellness policies. We've worked with WorkWell Kansas team over the past three and a half years, and been very pleased with the work that we're doing. We've learned a lot from that, but we thought it would be best to open it up to a broad group of folks to get everyone's best ideas. And basically, who may apply, this is also in the RFP itself. The applicants are nonprofit organizations that demonstrate their ability to engage work sites across Kansas. The applicant organizations must be classified as a tax exempt under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Private foundations and nonprofit organizations classified under the Internal Revenue Code Section 509A3 are not eligible for this funding opportunity. Additionally, applicants' organizations' annual revenue minus any existing grants from the foundation must exceed the requested annual amount. Also, those that are applying, any conflict of interest, we would like for the Kansas Health Foundation, basically we reserve the right to not fund an organization that has contracts with or receiving funding from a tobacco company or soft drink manufacturers. And we have a form that we ask you to sign that indicates whether there is a relationship. This doesn't mean we won't fund you, we just need to understand that relationship. Available for this grant period, we're offering $1 million over the next 3 years. We want all the proposals to people that intend to propose to submit a letter of intent by August 11th of this year. Anybody that does not submit that, we won't review those. So we require this letter of intent to be. And this is just a letter of intent, not a whole lot of work. All you need to do is send in a letter saying you intend to apply for this particular initiative with the name and address of the applicant, primary contact, title, and contact information, and description of the organization, the mission, and why you're interested in this. This one, in this particular initiative, we have two components we'd like the applicant to describe in their proposal. We have a lot of grantees who have, through a survey we've done, have an interest, either have wellness plans or have an interest in increasing the wellness plans and really focusing more on policy. So there's an interest out there, and so we will begin trying to think of ways to incentivize our grantees to participate in this initiative. And so for the purpose of the proposals, we want the applicant to assume that there may be as many as 50 Kansas Health Foundation's grantees per year that will be engaged and supported through this project. This is only for planning purposes and budgeting purposes. As I said, there seems to be a desire, so this is not an objective that has to be met. This is really in your planning process. And we actually want this to be minimally, not a whole lot of work, so we want you to help develop the infrastructure that would provide these opportunities, educational opportunities through webinars, toolkits, sample wellness policies, etc. And the bulk of this initiative is really around the component 2. So we're interested in increasing the number of organizations with successfully implemented worksite wellness policies that would serve as models for the employers across the state. Applicants should be have a clear plan for how employers will be identified and engaged, how policy implementation will be supported and monitored over the course of the grant term, and how employers who implement strong policies will be encouraged to serve as champions to other employers across the state. As I said, we've been working with WorkWell Kansas over the last 3.5 years. We feel like there's been a strong partnership in focusing on policy and environmental change at the work sites. We recognize that there has been some challenges. We talk about those challenges in the RFP. So I would encourage any applicant to read through that RFP, think about the challenges that we state in that, and then try to put together a plan that could try to improve the work that we've been doing thus far. The evaluation, the performance will be evaluated upon the extent at which the funded organization meets their proposed objectives and Kansas Health Foundation grantee satisfaction with the support provided. So we will be responsible for doing a grantee satisfaction survey, but we'll develop that with the funded organization. The funded organization must identify their process for monitoring progress towards the Component 2 objectives, and then an external evaluator may be engaged to evaluate certain aspects of the initiative. The funded organization is expected to cooperate fully with this evaluation and encourage participating employers to do the same. So the proposal requirements and scoring is listed here. It's also in the proposal. So we'll have reviewers review each of these areas in the proposal and rank those or rate those according to this scoring here. So there'll be 120 total points available, and then there's a page limit of 17 pages for this application. And here's the timeline. Today is the webinar. August 11th, we'll want to see those letters of intent. The proposals are due September 8th of this year, and the grant term will begin January 1st of 2015. The online letter of intent and proposal process, you can get that at our thekansashealth.org. Questions? If you want to, you can raise your hand, and I will unmute you, and you can ask the question, or if you prefer, it actually is easier for us if you type in the questions in the chat box. So are there any questions? This may be the fastest webinar we've ever done. It's pretty straightforward. I think the RFP really describes the work that we've done so far and describes the expectations. Looks like we have one question. And Craig, I've unmuted you.
Hi, Jeff. This is Craig Galvin with the Mid-America Coalition on Healthcare.
Hi.
Two questions. The external evaluator may be engaged for evaluating the certain aspects of the initiative. Is that somebody that's going to be engaged that you would hire, that KHF would hire, or is that should be part of our proposal?
No, we'll hire that individual. So any external evaluation you will not be responsible for.
Okay, and then back to Component 1, just a clarification on what is meant by KHF grantees. I assume that's not the same as the work sites that have participated so far in WorkWell Kansas. That they're two different things.
Well, they may be part of the Worksite initiative, but really, basically, what we're doing is trying to think about how we might engage our grantees in actually affecting their work environments. So we're thinking about how to drive them to this initiative,
okay.
and so it really It won't be the same. So they may be part of it if you choose. Like a lot of our grantees aren't real. The majority of them don't have a real large staff. So we would want this to be not as intensive as the component 2, but as in helping support our KHF grantees in the event that they would like to increase their worksite wellness initiatives.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. Anybody that is on this, if you have any questions and you want me to, just feel free to give me a call. My phone number is 316-491-8422, and my email address is jusher@khf.org. If we don't have any further questions, oh, Vernon has one. Okay. Oh, Vern, you can't. You need to enter your PIN on your phone. Either that or type in your question in the questions chat box. Okay, Vern has asked, how is this different from Workwell, Kansas? Well, it's different in that we're opening it up. Workwell, Kansas was very specific. We said we're going to work with X amount of communities to engage X amount of work sites in those communities, and we were going to work with them for a year. What we're saying is that that's opened up to recommendations from the applicant on how best to actually engage employers so that they actually implement policies at the work site that will create healthier environments. What we've found is, and our assumption is from our current evaluation, is that the time period and the dosage may not have been enough for all the work sites to really actually implement policy change at the work site. So we're basically just opening it up. So we hope that there's some similarities with Workwell, because Workwell had, I mean, we were part of planning that process with the current Workwell team. So it is focused on a very nice framework that can help work sites. We're just saying we're interested in hearing from others and/or from the current Workwell team how they might address those challenges that we had in the first 3.5 years. Any other questions? I don't see any questions or hands raised, so like I said, feel free to give me a call, email me. Well, we did get another question. This is from Susan Johnson. How will we work with Kansas Department of Health and Environment? Well, we hope that whoever does apply will work with Kansas Department of Health and Environment. They've been a close partner. I know that they have set goals in their chronic disease work plan around Worksite Wellness, and they've supported WorkWell Kansas. They've also supported the worksite assessment that's been used in WorkWell. So we would hope that any applicant would continue to think about ways and describe how they might work with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. Any other questions? Well, again, if there are any other questions, again, feel free to call me or send me an email, and I'll be happy to talk. With that, I'll sign off. Take care.